Hi.
Hey, welcome to
Hey,
Friendzy. What's
what up?
going on?
How are you? Happy Wednesday.
That's right. Hey, friends, we love it when you jump in. Join us in comments, and we want to check in with you. I wanted to tell you, Melissa Carter, why I called this "Why You Always in a Mood."
That knowledge was kept from me until we're live. So
Do you
why are
know
you
that
always? Are you talking to
song?
me? Are you talking to me? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's based on a song that my kids are obsessed with right now called "Mood." It's by 24K Golden. Do you know it?
Don't
Why are
know
you
that.
always in a mood? Oh my gosh, it's such a cute little song, and my kids are obsessed with it, which means we have to play it on repeat at all times. So that's why I call this "Why You Always in a Mood." And we're asking you, friends, to jump in comments. How are you? Tell us your mood in either one word or one emoji. Okay.
Yeah,
You either
that's
get
good.
one emoji or one
I
word
have
to tell
to.
us your mood.
I'm gonna have to
So
look up
jump in
this
comments
song.
and we can add you to the show. What about you, Melissa Carter?
What kind of mood am I in?
Why are you always in a
Well, I
mood?
always need a mood.
I'm kidding. What's
I
your mood in one word right now? I'm gonna overthink it.
um one word. Behind.
Why? Your mood is behind.
I feel because I feel behind. Is that?
Ah,
I'm not
so
talking
you're
about. I wish my mood was about behinds, but no, it's about feeling behind. Yeah, I feel behind this week. I don't, but
Catherine loves that song, and her mood is
right.
fire. I love it, Catherine. Catherine's on
Yes,
fire
she's
today.
on fire. Yes, no, yes. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel behind, but I feel behind today. So
So, instead of behind, your feeling would be anxious.
I guess a little anxious. Yeah, anxious.
Anxious is your
Yeah,
mood.
yeah. Today, right
Okay.
now, at this moment, not because of
Yeah.
this, but just I don't know. I just feel anxious. Well, anxious.
My mood is contemplative. I
Big
just
word.
feel more contemplative when the weather is like it's been a mood it's
Mm,
been moody weather. Finally the sun's coming out today, but it's like
yeah.
it's been rainy here a lot, and I don't know, it just makes me contemplative. And then the podcast that we just recorded for a show coming up has made me very contemplative that I'm
Yes,
super excited about. Melissa and I
that's a
took
good one.
some of your guidance, some guidance from one of our podcast listeners, and we're doing an episode on the Enneagram. So, oh,
Yes, and
Nancy
we
says she gets that mood.
what mood?
Nancy,
Oh, you so good at Nancy. I
that
did.
you feel behind.
Yes, I don't, and there's a reason for me to, but somehow I'm anxious and a little frantic this week, and I don't know. I'm trying to find the song. I'm not. I'm paying full attention to you, Nancy and Jen. I'm.
Oh, pull it up.
Why are you
It's
in a?
24K and then the word golden.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Why are
Is this
you
it?
always in a mood?
That doesn't sound very.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it
That's
is.
it. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. Facebook might kick us off if we play too much.
Oh.
I play the clean version for my kids.
I just picked the first one that came up. Sorry.
Being behind. Kind of a break, even work. Yeah. So you kind of feel like you need a break. You just feel like you're not keeping up with things. You're not like on top of it.
I think that mine too is it's not the feeling I expected to have being vaccinated and back
Mm.
into the world because last night I've been frantic. I felt frantic all week. And there's a part of me, even though I once I got vaccinated, I was hopeful and excited and obviously a year indoors, but the frantic I think is now there's an anxiety about it. I think there's an anxiety about
Mm.
not wanting to repeat the old patterns of overscheduling, but also just finding the confidence to go out in confidence into the world. I don't know. I don't want to lose the lessons that I learned by going back into the same old routine. So I don't know.
Mhm.
There's a lot of oh, Jen is good. Yes, you should be excited. I should be too, but yes, for some reason I just it's an odd sensation I'm feeling.
Can I ask you a very personal question?
Always.
Do you think do you think that you are a tad agoraphobic now after the pandemic? Which is like people who don't like to ever leave their house?
Right. That's Paula Dean had that for a long time. It's the first time I ever heard about it was her. She had it for a while. I maybe subconsciously, not consciously.
Okay.
But maybe subconsciously. I've been out. I've been to a Braves game. I have been
Oh,
to
nice. That's out.
Sun
That's
sporting
really
events.
out.
So I've been out. I've not been to the grocery store yet. I don't know. I've been outdoors, makes me feel okay. Indoors, I think I'm still a little, even though I'm vaccinated, but there's something.
So
Yeah.
it's a weird transition, and you have more to be worried about health-wise because of your kidney transplant than other people do. So
Mhm.
I understand that is a real fear.
Yeah. So
And it's what
yeah.
has kept you alive throughout this
Yes.
is that
Yes.
real fear.
It was,
So
yeah.
there's a survivor instinct in
But
part of
yeah.
that,
But I
but
have done
also
I have done outdoor events. Yes.
and really I mean, you're not missing anything by not going to the grocery store. Who likes going to the grocery store? Not
I s
the
I still
greatest
use,
thing in the
yeah.
world, but
They're not a sponsor, but I've been using Instacart. Instacart has saved me this whole pandemic.
yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
know, I was talking to some girlfriends recently who said when they need to escape their small children, that they go to the grocery store and they just stand in front of the spices because it's relaxing to them. Two of my girlfriends do this, and I just
Really?
found it out this weekend. Isn't that hilarious? I
That
was
is
like,
odd, but that's whatever gets you through. I mean, well, I guess if
I
you're planning,
love
like,
it.
I sometimes like, I like to bake, I don't like to cook, so I could see myself in the
Mhm.
baking aisle and just kinda perusing over the possibilities, I suppose. Um, Colin is hopeful. Good.
Colin's hopeful.
Yeah.
Bethany doesn't seem good. She seems like she's in a sad
Oh,
mood. I'm
what?
sorry, Bethany. Do you wanna tell us why? If you wanna tell us why in a word or two, then maybe we can talk about it. We'd like to know
Yeah.
about that too. Lisa, however, is optimistic. That's
Oh,
good.
yes,
Maybe
very
Lisa
good.
got a good night's sleep last night. She's
That's
drinking
right.
her water, her 8 glasses a day. She's
That's
feeling
right.
good. She's like, life is good. Lori also feeling a little bummed out. Totally get it. Everybody's got those days, right?
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, and like you mentioned, Jen, with the weather the past couple days, I mean, weather does affect you,
Yeah,
and
true.
I do think that, there being isolated for a long time, I
Oh,
is
no.
affected.
Teresa is having a really hard day. She put 3 sad face emojis in
Oh,
there.
Teresa, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
man.
Well,
Okay.
here's the beauty about everybody not going through something at the same time. You notice that a lot,
That's
her
right.
terrible day. So for Lisa before, who was optimistic, and Colin, who is hopeful, like, we can all help each other. We can help her
Yeah.
feel, because we don't know what's going on, and we may not make you feel happy, but at least we can put a bottom on whatever hole that you're falling down. Nancy's ready to bust out of this dang house, run naked through the streets. Well, don't tweak the naked part. That's what
Yeah,
I
that's the
liked
best
about it.
part.
Yes.
Yes, for free. Let all the parts fly,
Look,
right?
with all the pandemic food we've had, I mean, that you're gonna have a little jiggle and you wiggle, and that's all right.
Oh, Carmen says first manicure in a year plus. It
Oh,
felt so
yes.
odd. Yes. I always feel like manicures are odd. It's an odd experience. Just
Well, it's like the dentist, especially if
uncomfortable.
you get a manicure. Yes, a pedicure, at least there's a little distance between, but like a dentist, manicure, where you feel like you always want to kind of be free. You feel,
Yeah. It's
there's
like you're paying for the service. They're glad they have the job, but it feels weird.
There was one time at a
Yeah.
facial, bless her heart. I mean, this is, I'll give them a plug. They're not a sponsor, but 313 Salon Spa and Boutique,
Yeah, yeah.
great place. So I went there for a facial, and they were so kind to me because they were making it so relaxing. I mean, it was just dark room, and they had me tucked under like the covers and
Oh,
everything. Like,
nice.
so I was like swaddled basically. But the funny thing is, I started getting claustrophobic. So as she was
No.
putting the thing on my face, I was like, it was my arms
Panic.
being bound.
Oh,
And
no.
so I was like, I told her, I said, I am so sorry. I am starting to have anxiety. And she comforted me. And she said, you know what? For some people, if you pull your arms out of the covers, it might help. And it sure did. So it's weird how there was this subconscious, like, bond, being bound,
Yeah.
that was not exciting at the time. So
To me, it feels like we're like oddly pretentious or something that I'm like, here's my hands, fix them for me. It
Jen,
feels weird, oddly like
you're so pretentious in every other part of your life. I don't know why. Just
it feels weird.
kidding. She makes me call her Queen Jen when we're,
I mean,
I'm just
kiss the
kidding.
ring.
I just
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go past your mood in one word. We want to know your big struggle. Like what's at the top of your mind that's kind of bugging you right now, that's getting you down, or that's you're like, excited about, because Janice was saying that she's excited. So, but what's that thing going on in your life right now? Because Melissa and I want to talk about different things on the Friendzy podcast that are going on in your life. So we figured that we could find out a little bit more about you if you tell us what's your biggest struggle right now, currently today. Is
Yeah.
it getting back out, like you said, into the world and being nervous about the grocery store? Or is
Yeah.
your biggest struggle like, hey, I got to find a new job because my job changed in the pandemic? What are the things going on in your world? We would love to hear. And our friends have to have a chance for catching up. So that means we got to answer the question. Biggest
Well,
struggle.
I tell you, I went yesterday. So I've started going to doctor's appointments, catching up on doctors. So I felt
Yeah.
okay with outside and medical facilities is where I've started the slow trek back out into a normal life. And I was at a doctor's appointment yesterday, getting a checkup, and we were talking about being in the pandemic, and she has young children, and
Uh-huh.
she's over 40, and so we were starting to talk about these things, and I said the thing that was the bright spot for me during the pandemic was the fact that I did kindergarten with Mr. Carter.
Yeah.
And I said that and the look on her face was like I gave you about your friends who sit in front of the spices at the grocery store.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
looked at me like I had
Like
grown a
what?
third leg
She's like, you liked kindergarten at home?
she was like, she said it drove me because her kids didn't do remote the whole time. So where my son goes to school, we had to commit. It's
Yeah.
hybrid learning. We had to commit for the whole semester. So he's still doing remote learning. And she was like, and I'm sad that it's ending this month. And because I'm like, he's going to be back into a regular school routine, next year when he's in first grade. I can't believe it. And so, yeah. So for her, the struggle was doing homeschool when she had to. And for me, it was the
Mhm.
bright spot. So it also shows the diversity. That's why we ask you these questions, because what may be a struggle for me may not be a struggle for you, and vice versa.
Totally. Okay, Bethany was one who gave us a sad face, and she said, "Being a single mom and working a full-time job.
Yes.
That's a
Amen,
full
sister.
plate, girl. That is a lot.
Well, and
It's
I tell you,
all on you.
and I
It's
tell
all on you."
And I tell you the worst, and
Man.
Bethany, I can relate. If I assume that one of the worst times for you doing that is the drive to work, to leave the child and have to drive to work. I have a friend who said that there was one morning that she pulled out of the driveway to go to work, leaving her child behind, and that was the moment that she decided to work for herself and has been doing so
Oh,
for over a decade,
really?
yes, and I remember, I did morning radio when Mr. Carter was an infant, and I would pull out of and I was a single mom, and I would pull out of that driveway, and I had fortunately found someone that would take care of him, but I remember crying, leaving, and that's one of the
Oh,
I kinda was inspired by my friend, and I think employers need to really understand that. Parents in
yeah.
general, but single parents, whether it's a single mother or single father, I
It's
wish
tough.
there was more compassion, because you hear people like, well, I don't know why she gets to leave early because she's got a kid and I don't have a kid and I've got to stay here. Like, employers need to understand the diversity of your employees, and make that work environment one where everybody wants to be there and support each other. And so Bethany, the fact that it sounds like she's in a job where it's not 100% satisfactory, trying to do both. Yeah, I think a lot of companies
Mhm.
need to learn to be family friendly. Absolutely.
Totally. All right, Janice said, vacation tomorrow. Daughter gets to have her graduation.
Yay!
That is
Good.
so exciting, but what an emotional time.
Yeah.
Janice, if you're still watching, pop in the comments. Is it high school graduation and your daughter's going off to college? What kind of graduation is it? Because I'm interested in that senior send-off time. Your life is about to change
Mhm.
if your child is leaving. Oh, yeah. Bethany is chiming in, Melissa. She said, yep, she cries on her way to work
Yep. That's the time.
too
I'm
for
telling
babies with special
it
needs.
it's
Yeah.
the, oh, and you have special needs. See, there's a
Even more so a
yeah, and
challenge.
yeah, and we on the Frenzy will have a special Mother's Day episode next week. It's next week,
Yeah.
right? That it
Next
comes
week.
out.
Yeah.
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 And we talk about some of these things, but yeah, it's that again, especially if an employer it's a male dominated industry. No offense to men, but I just don't think a lot of, especially alpha males who run companies, get it and get the struggle and get that, and respect the fact that you're crying on the way to work, having to leave your children, and you're
Mhm.
dedicating yourself for the betterment of your family, and your employer should really reward you for that.
Mhm.
And there are employers that would. There are employers that are fantastic in that category, but then there's obviously for her, it's not the same. So
Mhm.
you're not alone, honey. There's other women that every woman who understands is giving you love right now because I've certainly cried those tears.
Totally. Now, Janice said that her daughter's graduating high school. So that is interesting. That transition from what your life has been like all the way through raising kids, all the way through high school to now, what does that look like? So, okay,
Well,
that's interesting insight because your whole life is changing at that point. They don't need you as much anymore. They need
what
you. They'll always need you, but not in the
but
same way.
that's a good indicator to me on how much you have established your self identity, the things that you find interesting, the things
Mhm.
that you do. Are you participating in things uh, that satisfy you as a person on your own, not being a mother? Because I think the hardest pill to swallow is if you have just serviced your children the whole time, which is very easy to do, and then they
Mhm.
leave, and then it's what do I do now? Where I'm curious if Janice has something that has helped kind of curb that panic
Right, right.
and that
Okay.
sadness.
Lisa says her top struggle right now is struggling with gaining weight.
Hmm.
Yes, that has been so hard during the pandemic. We've all been home and not moving as much, but hopefully seasonally and hopefully we're at the end of this pandemic, we can all get moving
Well,
again. It's just
and
that movement, right?
And yeah, and as you get older, it's sometimes easier to do. And
Mhm.
but I think that movement, exercise, and I'm the last to join a gym or do anything like that, but I have even seen in my own life the benefits of your mood. Like even if you're the same weight, but you're still
Mhm.
exercising, you
You're
find yourself
happier.
sexier.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so
That
true.
yes. I have
Yes.
a little pot
Same,
belly,
girl,
and it's
same.
like my pot belly's kind of cute when I exercise. When I don't exercise, it's a burden, but
You're like,
but
"I
look,
hate you." Yes,
yeah, but when I exercise, it's like Winnie the Pooh because Winnie the Pooh's belly's cute. So
totally.
Melissa should be too.
All right, Colin Sharon, top struggle with co-parenting after divorce. Yes, that is
Don't let the doubt creep in here. Look,
ooh.
I co-parent with Katie Joe, okay? And we are very different people and we have very different parenting styles, but we have made an agreement that we are team Mr. Carter. And we have made
Mhm,
an agreement that we never criticize each other on our parenting. And we have chosen as older women that first year we fought. Jen knows this that we couldn't stand each other that first year, and Mr. Carter was, an infant. And it was Katie that said to me, "We're better than this. We're better than this." And
mhm.
so you have to reconnect where your friendship began. And, Katie has had several
Gotta
girlfriends
be
that my
so
son's
hard,
around.
though. How
My,
does he
yeah,
reconnect with his former partner when they're in the
you
middle of
got to.
divorce? Like, you hated that person enough to get divorced, or there was enough of a break to get divorced and then have to get along with them. God,
You
I
got to
mean,
because your child
I give
because your
y'all all the credit. It's
Because your
amazing.
child is more important than your
Yes.
ego.
Yes.
Colin, your child is more important than your ego. Now you sound like y'all are on the right path, but for anybody else who's doing,
Doing really well at
because
it.
again,
Mhm.
your child will be in the hands of other people. Mr. Carter is being told he's loved and is called affectionate terms by someone else that is not his parent.
Mhm.
You will see, but the thing is, guess what? That's Mr. Carter's world. And I want him to have the more people that love him, the better off he's going to be. So the thing is, you got to, your child, you got to determine who's more important. And Katie and I got through it. And now we're fine. If you get through that ego
Mhm.
competition, if you get through that jealousy and control, and they can't be this and they can't,
Mhm.
you start using your child as a weapon against your ex, then you're doing it
Mhm.
wrong. So
He says they get along way better now that they aren't
yes,
married.
we don't. You know what? The things that would be a long term fight between me and Katie Joe now last 5 minutes because we don't live together. It's much
Mhm.
easier for us not to live together.
Janice is saying, "Yep, true that."
It does.
Yeah.
You can't control the other person. You can only do the best as you. But the other thing I caution is never criticize the other parent to them. That
Ooh,
is Katie is
yeah.
still their mom, is still Mr. Carter's mama. Mommy, I'm mama. And that's the number one thing. Do not be disrespectful, no matter how you feel, to that child, because that child's relationship with them is different than yours.
Mhm.
I notice I have opinions on that.
Mhm. No, it's
Because
so
it's
good.
because your child, you don't let, we have all known trophy kids, right? Who've and they're not, they have struggles as adults. It's worth your time to sacrifice your own, you know, need to be right and win, to make sure that child's adulthood is not on a therapist couch.
Mhm. Yes, in my sorority, we would have said this meant ditto.
Oh, nice.
Like, if you need to do it silently, like,
Oh,
"Yes, girl."
this is what Coyotes did.
Yeah, 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 for thetas, we were like,
Yeah.
"Yes, girl."
Yes, 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 yes,
All right. Any others in comments that you guys want to throw in there right now? Please do jump into the conversation. We love hanging out with y'all. I did want to run by you a question that we got about imposter syndrome.
Sure.
This is from one of our Friendzy listeners. Her name is Alexis, and that's all I'm going to give because it's a little bit more specific. So I don't want anybody to know her last name. But Alexis says that she says, loving the Friendzy, and you guys are killing it. So wonderful to hear you and Melissa on the air again together. I hope the audience is building the way you want it to. She said, I'm out of your target demo. I'm turning 34 this year. I just wanted to pass along an idea. I would love for you to talk about this. I work in a young industry and I'm already aging out of the standard group of people I work with.
Mhm.
She's in the digital space.
I was gonna say it has to be tech, some
Tech
kind of
driven.
tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says it's a broad generalization, but it is the trend of agencies. She said, um, that there are a lot of single women who have a lot more freedom, and she has a family. So she's not included in the things that they're doing at her job, whether they're going out for drinks after work or they can commit extra long hours. Like, she's got to bounce because she has little
Right.
kids. And
Mhm.
she says, I feel like I have insecurity and an imposter syndrome. She says, I feel that I am too old to be as adept, nimble, and good at the tools as the quote unquote young people. Um, will I sound stupid when I'm collaborating with them? I may not know every program terminology. She's giving me some here.
Yeah.
She says, I'm insecure because I get off of a great call and then I wonder, are they rolling their eyes at the old lady? At 34, she feels like the old
Pumpkin.
lady in her
Well,
industry.
yeah, but I think that that's, a universal thing if you're not confident in what you're doing. Like, my first thought is you gotta reverse that. You've got to be, you know what, you are 34. There's no you don't wanna be
Right.
25 anymore. And you don't know what they're thinking. You're thinking that they think you're the old lady and uncool, where they're probably thinking, "Oh, she's got it so established and put together, and even though I'm
Right.
going out, I can't pay my rent, and I'm, you know." Because in my 20s, I was stressed out about money all the time. So,
Huh?
we've talked before about how you were usually in your own head about things that nobody else cares about. But I do think that you have to, at some point, and this is for all women, and regardless of age, but you have to embrace yourself and find that confidence and find your voice. And that's why I'm glad you're listening to the Frenzy,
Mhm.
because you got a head start on what we're learning not until usually after 40. So, you're normal in, first of all, let me say you're normal in how you feel, right? Because
Mhm.
we were climbing the professional ladder in our 30s, and we were built, Jen and I were together building a morning show when well, you're probably in your 20s, but whatever. And so we were, building the show to success and helping, someone else build a brand. And I was, yeah, I was not, I was insecure, because I was just trying to keep up and
Mhm.
learn along the way. And I was ambitious. My ambition is what I was confident in. My skill set is not necessarily what I was confident in. I can't speak for Jen, but I think after I turned
Mhm.
40, I realized I've earned this space. I've earned my skill set.
Mhm.
I've earned where I am. And the older you get, the more confident you get. So I'm sorry, Alexis, you're going to be okay, but I would stop. You got to learn the habit of not worrying about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
You do not know what these young people think. And, I would look toward older people when I was in my 20s to figure out who I wanted to be like and who I didn't want to be like. And the more confident you are, the more you will attract these 20 somethings. If you're an insecure 30 something to a 20-year-old, that's not a mentor, right? And so to
Mm-hmm.
me, I think that if you just owned who you are and explain to them, yes, I can't go and be proud of the fact that I've got children and I can devote this much time to you, but I also have to do this. You'll be, to me, leading them, right? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's my first thought
Yeah.
with their email.
I think imposter syndrome at the heart of it is fear. And I think what you have to realize is that everybody has that feeling. It's just some people acknowledge the fear and do it anyway.
Mhm.
And other people acknowledge the fear and it can be paralyzing. So I feel like, in my career, I've always just done it scared. You know, it's
That's a
like,
good way to put it. Yeah.
it's like public speaking or hosting an event. It's like there's nerves. There's tons of nerves before any of those type of things happen, or even on a radio show or cracking the mic. There's always doubts that creep in about your ability, or there are fears where you're going to be, am I going to be humiliated? Am I going to mess this up? Am I going to do it right or
What
wrong?
are people going to think? Are they
What
going
will
to,
people think of me?
yeah.
All those things, but you just do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in a way, handling imposter syndrome is acknowledging like, oh, this feels a little uncomfortable, but I'm going to keep moving forward through it. I think that's the only way that imposter thing goes away, is that because by just pushing through that fear, you get more confident and
I
then it
tell
goes away
Well, I
over
tell you what,
time.
I think that Jen and I had the luxury of being in a profession in which we got feedback. And so again, you're
Mm,
afraid of the negative feedback. But then because I was one of the first openly gay people on the radio, I would get emails from teenagers.
mm,
And the most heartbreaking ones would be the ones, please don't write me back. I'm
mm,
going to erase this as soon as I send it, but I needed you to know that I'm out here.
mhm,
And so Jen's exactly right. You do it anyway. I did a lot of my career out of, with fear in my gut. But I had the luxury of being able to be told by younger people, please don't stop doing what you're doing because I need you. And
mhm.
so there could be a mentality in your mind. That was redundant. But there could be a mentality that some of these 20 somethings are looking up to you and watching you without ever telling you that they admire
Mhm.
you, and they hope that they could be the same mom, that, what, when I'm a mom, I'm not gonna hang out with people and not be with my kid either. So just
Right.
assume the best. Assume
Right.
that people are actually thinking the best of you, and then that might temper that a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. I love that. I think you're right. I think you have to not place those negative fears and thoughts on somebody else, because that may not be what they're thinking at
At
all.
all.
You're
Most of the time, it's
creating
not.
that. Yeah.
Everybody's worried about themselves. If you're wondering if, "Oh, are people looking at my outfit?" No. Are people, looking at the fact that I don't have makeup on
Right.
today? No. Are people realizing that I didn't do my hair too? Yeah, I got a bad hair day. I'm just so embarrassed to be out. Nobody has paid a bit of attention.
Right. Are they noticing that I'm wearing the same pair of jeans 3 days in a row?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. I mean, ask any question, the answer is likely no. They are not paying it unless you point it out. When you start pointing out these things, "Oh my god, I've just had a terrible hair day." Then they're like, "Oh, well, let me
Oh,
look at your hair.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess you
Actually, it's
are.
terrible.
Yeah."
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't
Right.
don't
Don't
introduce people
highlight
to,
it.
yes, don't highlight it. No. No.
All right, friends. Well, we love it when you guys hang out with us here on Facebook. Thank you so much. Come on over to the Friendzy. We want you to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on all the platforms, right, Melissa Cotta?
That's right. Yes, this is not the podcast. What we're doing here is just spending extra time with you. The
Yeah.
actual podcast is wherever you listen to podcasts. And like she said, we're on every platform. If you're on Google Play, you're on Apple, you're on Deezer. I mean, you're on Spotify. We're there. And our featured guest this week is Kat Cole, who is the former COO and vice or president of the North American Focus brands. That sounds very fancy for Cinnabon and Hooters. Okay, so she's this power chick who talks about ownership
Yes.
mentality. So Alexis, you should listen to this episode because
Oh,
ownership
so
mentality,
good.
you own yourself, and other people will follow you based on that. So, and we can send it to you in your inbox every week.
Mhm.
If you subscribe at thefriendzy.com and you see how it is spelled there, friend with a ZY, Friendzy, we make it easy on you. So we can just send you in your email box if you don't want to have to search the platforms. Is that a smiley face or a frowny
Yeah.
face for Nikki?
Yeah.
Smiley face, Nikki? Okay, good. I'm glad you're having a good day.
Nikki's in a good mood. Yeah. So definitely sign up for our emails at thefriendzy.com. We won't bug you. It's one a week. We send you the new episode and some links to some other resources or the things that we've talked about so you can learn more about the people we interview or the different topics that we are discussing. We also want to say a big thanks to our friends at Kick It Pajamas.
Yes.
They are amazing. And if you use the code Friendzy, you can get a 10% discount there. And we would love for you to follow us right here on Facebook or over on Instagram as well at The Friendzy. Cool.
And you can always email us, Melissa at thefriendzy.com, Jenn at thefriendzy.com. I guess that's all the information we have. One last thing is your mood is not, even if you're in a bad mood, just know that it's not going to last. It's not going to last.
Why are
Moods
you
don't
always
last.
in a mood?
I know. I need to listen. Well, I need to listen to that song off air, obviously.
Yeah.
Thanks for the warning. Gosh, you
picked the explicit version.
Your daughters are listening to
The
that.
best one. I know. Kick me out of being a parent. Okay. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.